Welcome back to another video everyone. Matthew's Tech Storage UK here. I'm going to show you guys how to install the Teamspeak 3 client. Now this is a video relating back to my other video on how to install a server, as well as the video which is showing you guys my own personal server. So Teamspeak is a client which is a way it's best mostly used for gaming, and also it is used in business as well, as you can get a non-profit license if you have a large business that uses Teamspeak, but there's not many out there that use it, but still it's a very popular communication program, which is also known as voice over IP. Now if you go to the link in the description, if you're lazy, or if you go to your browser and just type in teamspeak.com, it'll bring you to this new and exciting, sorry that's my phone, new and exciting looking page. Now Teamspeak have recently redesigned their website, which looks very smart, so yeah, thumbs up to Teamspeak for that. And yes, I'll show you guys how to install it. So if you're at the top right hand corner here, it says you've got Teamspeak 3 client, server and SDK. Today we're going to be focusing on the Teamspeak 3 client. So it's going to click on Teamspeak 3 client there, and it'll bring you to this page. Now this is where you choose your operating system. Now this tutorial is obviously for Windows. If you're on a Mac or Linux, or well, I'm sure those ones are easy anyway. So if you're on a Mac or Linux, I'm not going to be able to support you here, but only if you are on Windows. So this is where you need to find out what version of Windows you've got. Now if you're on Windows 7, you can do the following. So if you go to Start, and then where it says here Computer, if you right click on that and then go down to Properties, just down here, and then this is where it shows you your operating system information. Now the bit which you want to be looking at is just below the can't even find out what's that. Sorry, there we go. Just below the RAM. So it says here system type, and it's got 64-bit operating system or 32-bit. 32-bit is a limited operating system, but 64 is basically the full package. I would suggest if you're on 32-bit, you would upgrade to 64. Otherwise, you're going to have a little bit of compatibility issues in the future. So I've got a 64-bit operating system, so I'm just going to go ahead and download the 64-bit. Now as for the drop-down menu here, you don't have to worry about this. This is just basically on which download server you want to get it from. They're both the same, they both do the same thing, so I'm just going to click download, and that will download just down here. So that's going to take 30 seconds, and I'll be back with you guys once it's downloaded. Okay, so my Teamspeak has now downloaded. I'm just going to click on that. Sorry about my internet, it's very slow. This is going to ask you if you want to make changes to the computer. You're going to click yes, and that's going to unpack. Now if you're on Windows 8, 8.1 or 10, it's slightly different. For Windows 8 and 8.1, I know you get the full screen start menu, which is absolutely awful. If you just press start and then type in computer, just start typing computer, and then it will give you, on the right hand side somewhere here, it will give you a small computer icon which you can click on. If you click on that and then do the same, so at the top it will say Assistant tab, and if you go down to System Properties, it will tell you in there. And I believe it's the same process for Windows 10, apart from that you can type it into the little search box that's at the bottom as well, just down here somewhere. So once you've opened up Teamspeak 3 and downloaded the right version for your operating system, it's going to unpack the data, and you can get this nice little setup window. So I'm just going to click next, and then this is where the everyone in the world, let's be honest, reads this. So I've read all that, so click next, agree to that. So next it's going to ask you whether you want to install Teamspeak for anyone or just for yourself. I'm just going to do it for anyone using a computer, because I don't really see the point of installing just for yourself anyway, unless you're on a shared computer, which is quite strict. Now it's going to ask you where you want to install it. I would suggest installing it in the default destination folder. This is just in case you get anything which is also known as plugins in the future, which basically add-ons. It's a bit like a Minecraft server really, where you can have it to do extra things, etc. But yeah, I'll just leave it in the default directory for now. So I'm just going to click next. Now it's going to ask you where you want to save the configuration. So this is bookmark servers and your settings. I would suggest just leaving it as recommended. But if you want to save it in a certain part on your computer, which is all easier to access, then you can go ahead and do that. Now this is going to be a bit of a pain, but it's if you want to install Overwolf. So if you're a gamer like myself and you want to see if people in game are or who's talking, when you're in game on full screen, somewhere in the top right hand corner, it will tell every time someone joins a channel, leaves a channel or speaks, it'll basically just give you a little notification just telling you who's speaking and doing what. It's very good, but I don't know, for me it just gets on my nerves, so I'm not going to install that. I'm just going to leave it as unticked and click next. Now it's just going to ask you which folder you want to create it in. I'm just going to leave it as Teamspeak 3 client, as it's okay, and then hit install, and there you go, that's done. So it's going to ask you to run Teamspeak 3 server, or sorry, the client, sorry. Just click run, and now it gives you this. Now before you actually do anything, this window which everyone reads again will pop up again. I don't know why it asks you twice, but obviously people must have been abusing it or something, but this has only come out in a recent update. So as you can see at the moment I can't accept it, but I'm just going to very quickly read all that and I'm just going to accept just down here. Now this is the Teamspeak 3 setup wizard. Now this is where you set up your microphone and test your microphone and use key bindings if you really want to, but I would not suggest using key bindings. So click next, choose a nickname. This can be changed, so I'm just going to call myself Matthew, and I'm just going to hit next. This is where you can choose what type of mic you want. So if you want it on voice activation, which is a bit like I suppose Xbox Live parties and general, so if you speak the mic automatically works, or if you don't want the mic to work when you speak, you can assign it so you have to hold down a key to speak, but it does get very frustrating, especially if you're gaming, so I'm just going to leave it on voice activation detection. This is where you test the microphone quality. So as I'm speaking now, as you can see, it is going up, and if it's green, that means it's good and it can hear you correctly. If it's staying in the red, it's not very good. If it's going all the way up to 50, then you've got your microphone too loud and you will need to turn it down. This is where you can assign a key again for microphone muting and speaker muting. I wouldn't suggest you doing this, I just leave it as no key assigned. Now this is where you can have, so when people join your server and leave, you can have it so if you want a male to tell you or to do all the announcements, or a female. I'll show you the differences. So channel switch is female. I can't quite hear that for some reason, I don't know why. Hang on a second, I've got a little sound issue here. Might be because I'm recording actually, let me just check. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Leave on there we go, let's try it again.
Channel switched.
Yep. So there you go. So you can have it on channel switched as female.
Channel switched.
Or you can have it as a male.
Channel switched.
I'm just going to leave it as female because it's just default. So there we go. Click next. That's it, all done. So I would suggest unticking these and then go to finish. And then obviously now is where you can connect to my server. So now if you want to connect to a server, if you go to the top left hand corner here and go to connect, this is the default Teamspeak server, which I'll tell you now, it's got absolutely hundreds of people on. I would not suggest using it as it's just mayhem. So if you guys, for example, I'm just going to connect to my server, so I'm going to call it ts.sharkeyes.me, and then there's no password, but this way you can put your nickname in, and let's just hit connect. Wait for that to resolve the hostname.
Connected.
And there you go, now on my server, so I can now choose a channel to join and also start speaking to people. If you guys want to make a certain... Let me just mute
Microphone sound muted.
So at the top there, as you just saw, you can mute your mic and mute your speakers as well. But if you go to bookmarks just here, you can bookmark servers, making it easier to remember and also to save IPs. So if I go to add bookmark, so I'm just going to call it my server, and the address, which is short for IP address, so chalkeyes.me. Hit apply. Okay, so now if I go to bookmarks, as you can see, I've now got one called My Server, so instead of me having to type in the IP every time I open up Teamspeak, I just go to bookmarks, click that, that will automatically resolve the IP. And there you go, straight in. Thanks for watching guys, hope this tutorial helped you, and I'll see you guys soon.
Back together now. What's your vision?